And your paranormal story, that story that left a mark on you and that today we're all going to hear. We're listening, Cynthia.
Well, I titled it The Story of the Quinceañera Doll. It's about a doll that was given to my mom when she turned 15. Well, I was very little. Ever since I was a baby, that doll was already in the house. My siblings and I grew up with that doll. Apparently, and according to what my mom tells me, this doll, I used to play with her a lot, and it got to the point where I pulled her hair out. So that doll was bald, right? At first, she apparently had very long hair, and well, there's nothing else to it. I only ever knew her as a bald doll. My mom loved her because her parents gave her the doll when she was 15, and she was always sitting on top of the wardrobe in our house. My family was very humble. We lived in a wooden shack and we all slept in one room. I mean, mom and dad on their double bed. To the left side was the wardrobe, and to the right side there was like a little hallway and a bunk bed, you know? The bed for two, right? The one that's below and above. My sister and we always heard noises in my house, footsteps, 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 footsteps. Every night, it was like we'd go to bed, sleep for a couple of hours, but both of us would wake up at the same time. To the point that we ended up having to sleep together on the bottom bunk. I mean, on the bed at the bottom, right? One of us at the head and the other at the foot. And when we started to hear the footsteps, we'd nudge each other with our feet. It was like, "Are you hearing that, Cynthia?" My sister would say to me, and I would hear it too, you know? I have it in my memory, my sister's little voice asking me, "Are you hearing that?" And me on the other side, "Yes, yes, I hear the same thing. Those are footsteps." She says to me, "Yes, well, we never dared to get up to see what was happening." Because also, just imagine, my dad would get up to work at 5 in the morning. He always worked, you know, a lot. My dad would come home super late. He would leave at 5 in the morning, and he was a man who would come back 20 hours later. I mean, just imagine between the commute to work and all that. So we didn't dare get up and go see to the other part of the house, which would be the kitchen area of a small dining room we had, to see if there was someone. Well, many, many nights went by like that until one day it became something really creepy because we started hearing more noises, even more footsteps. It was something terrible. That day, my sister and I decided to get up, and on top of all that, there were 5 of us. There were 5 people in the family. I mean, my dad, my mom, and my little brother slept together with my brother in between them, and the two of us were in the other bed. So we said, let's do something. Let's get up, go to mom and dad's bed, and squeeze in however we can. But all 5 of us are going to fit in that bed. We got up. My sister was smarter than me, you know? Smarter because she squeezed in between my mom and my dad where my little brother was. She squeezed in, and I end up on the side where the doll is, which we can see on the screen. I remember that doll and it terrifies me. I end up on the side of the hallway, right? Like spooning my dad toward the floor and toward the wardrobe where that doll was sitting. Hector. Well, we kept hearing the footsteps. We didn't want to wake up because also we were very respectful of my parents' rest. And then, and there, this is where it gets creepier, the story. I feel a hand running from my lower back all the way up to the top of my neck. I mean, it was like this, right?
Oh, God.
And such heat, an incredible heat that took over my whole body, even my head. I felt like I was going to explode. At that moment, and that's where my story ends. I didn't have the strength to tell or wake up my mom or my dad or any of my siblings, obviously, because I'm telling you, I mean, we really respected my dad's sleep. And my choice was to stay still, not to turn my head. I mean, not to turn my body to roll over, because I was sure that the doll from this story was behind me. So what I did was pray and cry. Because it was falling down like liquid, you know, like an open faucet. I couldn't hold back the tears. To this day, I always remember that story. Because then, the next day, I fell asleep crying. Then I told my mom. Obviously, my mom was like, "No, it's your imagination." Well, you were dreaming. You were a little sleepy. No, I told her I was awake. And what did we do? The next day, we told my cousin when they came over. We grabbed my mom's doll. Honestly, this is really bad. We grabbed that doll my mom loves so much. We practically tore it apart. We took off its little arms, We started dismembering it, the head, the legs, and the body in different parts. And we did the same typical thing from the legend of Osiris. Where they start throwing the pieces in different places? Well, we threw them all over the neighborhood. We got on our bikes, and each of us went to different places. And later on, we kept coming across parts, but luckily it didn't happen again. However, even so, the footsteps kept going in my house. And it got to the point where my sister decided and asked God, please, to take away that ability, right? Back then, we didn't see it as an ability to hear or see things, right? For us, it was more like a curse. Why are we hearing this?
Of course.
And she prayed so much that she stopped hearing, seeing, and having these visions and this ability to hear. So that's my story, the story of the Quinceañera doll.
Oh God, what a story. I didn't know you had gone through that. You hadn't told it on the radio either.
No, I never told it. In fact, ever since I was very little, I see shadows or I was very, very, very sensitive to perceiving things. I see it as natural now since I've experienced it from such a young age, so it feels normal to me, Suddenly I walk by and see a shadow. Oh, well, it must be someone around,
Of course.
like some spirit who needs something. But I see it as very, very natural. And generally, I'm not afraid unless something like that happens to me, like if they touch me or something like that. But yes, I have several stories. This is the one that impacted me the most because I was a little girl, because parents don't believe you. And here I associate it with fiction, like in horror movies. Usually in families, the one who things happen to, the one who sees, who hears, who senses things, they don't pay attention to them until things actually happen. Well, that's how it is. So that's the story, and I have many others too. Well, I got up the courage, Hector, to tell the one about Antarel, since they asked me, who is Antarel? I'm going to respond to a message that someone from your community wrote to me, this being from whom I received those messages, right? But these are things, that happen to you, and you either pay attention to them or not. I usually try not to pay attention to them. To be honest with you,
Of course.
I see them, everything, but I don't go deep. Leave me in the material world with normal life, And that's all good.
Good. I'll get back to you now. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Special program.